Israeli government spokesman David Mensah has said there was nowhere that Israel will not reach to defend itself, and it will not stop until war goals have been achieved. He said Israel was facing Iran on 7-month fronts. Mensah also said Israel struck Houthi targets in Yemen in response to the militants' recent attacks and was continuing to carry out strikes on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon.
Israel's goals in this war remain crystal clear. They are bringing home our hostages, 101 people, men, they are children, they are women, they are the elderly. Let them go now. To dismantle Hamas's capabilities and to enable all Israelis in the north and the south to return home in safety and security. On Yemen, firstly, defending ourselves against the Iranian-directed Houthis in Yemen. As you know, Israel was attacked over the weekend by powerful Houthi ballistic missiles. Yesterday, dozens of Israeli Air Force aircraft set out 2,000 kilometers away. Fighter jets and refueling aircraft to strike Houthi terrorist targets in Ras Issa and Hudaydah in Yemen, including power plants, a seaport that are used by Houthis to import oil for military purposes sent by Iran.
Well, for the very latest, let's bring in our special correspondent, Carl Bostic. Great to see you, Carl. We're seeing the death or the killing of quite a number of Hezbollah leaders in Beirut. What are the immediate implications of, especially Nasrallah's assassination for Hezbollah's leadership, of course, and operational capacity?
Well, that's really what's interesting, because even though you showed remarks by this deputy Hezbollah leader, you know, for those who watch the situation very closely here in the region, you know, what deputies are left? Because you refer to leaders that have been killed. Israeli media, they're showing the organizational chart of Hezbollah, or a tree diagram of all the leaders, beginning with Hassan Nasrallah, who is the supreme leader, or was the supreme leader of Hezbollah. And then you've got 2 or 3 more tiers of leaders, another 8 or 9 leaders of deputies to Nasrallah. All of them, virtually all of them have now been killed or assassinated. You mentioned 10 here, they're saying 9. But what's really striking is that out of those 9 or 10, 5 or 6 of them were killed, assassinated in the space of the last week. 5 or 6 killed in the space of last week. And why this is important is this. Hezbollah is really kind of caught on its back foot, but it's still very, very dangerous, because what's at stake right now? By losing Hassan Nasrallah, by losing all of these leaders, this takes away part of their command and control authority. In other words, who are the leaders? Who's running Hezbollah? In fact, the sheikh that you showed and are showing, he's trying to reassure Hezbollah fighters that there are contingency plans, that there are alternate leaders. Well, 10 of those alternate leaders have already been killed. So that's why many analysts believe that, you know, Hezbollah is going to take a long time to recover. They don't have its leaders. They don't have a command and control authority. And at the same time, they've had infrastructure destroyed. And now predictions are it could take months for Hezbollah to recover, to find its leaders, to get command and control authority, and then it's communications. You know, the pagers that was set off, and then the walkie-talkies, killing, hundreds and hundreds. Now there's no secure communication system for command and control. So until they can solve those problems, those dilemmas, Hezbollah would not be a true fighting force for months, many believe. But at the same time, they're dangerous as long as they have thousands and thousands of rockets and missiles parked on Israel's northern border.
One would wonder what would they use to respond to Israel's, onslaught on them. They're being defiant. They're saying they'll keep fighting. How do we see this response militarily on the part of Hezbollah?
Well, the way things are now is that Israel is not waiting for a response. We've seen statements come out of Israel from the defense minister, Yoav Gallant, saying the next stage of the campaign of Hezbollah will begin soon. There are now reports in the U.S. media where it's reported that an immigrant ground invasion of Lebanon could happen within days, according to U.S. media reports. Another report in the U.S. is that Israel officials have told the U.S. that a ground invasion could begin within hours. And the reason why that would begin, there is anticipation of a ground invasion because at the end of the day, following all of these strikes against Lebanon, there's only so much you can do from the air. Israel needs to go on the ground with its boots. And what they want to do, they want to remove Hezbollah's capability of being able to fire anti-tank missiles and rockets into those border communities that you're referring to. Because since October 8th, a day after the October 7th massacre, which is a year next week, you've had 60,000 people at least who have evacuated the communities. They are simply ghost towns along the border. And since October the 8th, they've been living in hotels across Israel, living in rental apartments. They've not gone back home. The school year's just begun. They're creating makeshift schools for them. Rosh Hashanah, the Israeli New Year, begins Wednesday evening. It's deserted on that border. So what Israel wants to do, they want to go on the ground. They need to find those Hezbollah fighters because the irony is this. October 7th caught Israel by surprise because they expected historically if there's going to be any attack, it would come from the north. It would come from Hezbollah because they thought Hezbollah was better organized. Hezbollah has its own network of tunnels, but so was Hamas. Israel didn't realize Hamas also had a network of tunnels. So that's why Israel needs to go on the ground. They need to go find those tunnels, destroy the infrastructure, and go after those fighters because now the Hezbollah fighters are believed to be hiding underground, and that's where the stockpiles of missiles are that can be fired into Israel.
Okay, Carl, talk to us about the role that Iran may play in supporting Hezbollah following this event, because we understand that an Iranian was also killed as well.
Well, what's also interesting, you have to understand that, this is such, Iran is really almost in shock over all this because of all of its proxies. The Hezbollah was the most powerful, most important of the proxies, ranging from Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah in Syria, and also the Shiites in Iraq. But all the training and financing came from Hezbollah. Hezbollah was the one that coordinated the attacks. And Hezbollah, especially Hassan Nasrallah, he was the leader for 34 years, but not just the leader, very charismatic. He was a close friend of Iran's Ayatollah Khamenei. So now there's no connection there between Iran and a Hezbollah leader. And more importantly, Hezbollah proxies gave Iran a kind of forward defense. What that means is that they were a deterrent. They protected Iran. They protected Iran's pursuit of a nuclear program. Without the protection of the proxies, without Hezbollah leadership, now Iran is exposed. And they're very, very anxious because they don't want to be drawn into a war. Very simply put, Hezbollah asked for help leading up to this. And at the time, Iran could not commit itself to doing anything further to help Hezbollah. However, once Nasrallah was assassinated, it was now being suggested that Iran may be sending troops into Lebanon to help Hezbollah. Right now, this is the worst possible time for Iran. They just had its new president addressing, the General Assembly in New York. Iran wants, to kind of improve its relations with the West. They want to remove those sanctions because they've taken a punishment economically. And the people, quite frankly, are very upset with the regime. And that's why even today, Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu delivered a video message to the Iranian people in English saying that we have nothing against Iran's people. One day, Iran will be free of this regime. A way of saying that we know that your regime is unpopular, and we are telling you this regime will not last long.
Many thanks, Carl Bostic, there for your updates in the development, and we'll be reaching you subsequently. Our special correspondent, Carl Bostic, there in Tel Aviv. Thank you.